Hey everyone, I'm Steven, and for my final project in Southern Literature, I chose to visit 4 historical sites in the state of Georgia. I visited the Southern Museum of Civil War and Locomotive History, as well as Kennesaw Mountain, and Jimmy Carter National Library and Museum, and the Gone with the Wind Museum. The first one I visited was the Southern Museum of Civil War and Locomotive History. This place is right in my backyard, yet I had never been before. And one of the first things that stuck out to me was the weapons that they had on display. The Civil War marked huge advancements in weaponry, and as a result, it was the bloodiest war on American soil. I was interested to see some of these as they later became the weapons that tamed the West. I was also interested in the train aspect of the museum. Looking at this model, I wondered what life must have been like for a railroad family member. And looking inside the model at some of the rooms, I thought to myself that the square footage was bigger than that of my one-room apartment. It was truly a life of luxury for those that were there. After spending a little bit of time trying to mess around and learn Morse code, we moved on to the heart of the museum's train exhibit, which is a train engine known as the General, which took place in the Great Train Robbery, and it will appear later in some other museums we visited. The next place I visited was Kennesaw Mountain. I've been to this before and I come here frequently, but rarely do I get a chance to go into the museum. While I was in the museum, it was nice to see a lot of the relics that they had dug out of the ground, and I was reminded of James Dickey's poem, Hunting Civil War Relics at Nimblewell Creek. When we were on the trail, I wondered just how close we were to the past. How accessible was it when we were hiking these woods? We also wondered if it still looked the same as it did to those soldiers when they were fighting, as it does to us today, and what it might look like in 200 years. Hopefully, it will remain preserved so as to maintain the legacy of those soldiers that gave their lives on either side for causes they believed in. Next, I went to the Gone with the Wind Museum. Now, the Gone with the Wind is one of the most famous stories from the South, and the book was translated countless times and even spoofed by Howard Stern. The film's impact can also not be understated. In fact, my grandmother still says that there is no such person as Vivian Leigh and there is no such person as Clark Gable. As to her, they are only Scarlett O'Hara and Rhett Butler. Secondary elaboration on the film and on the book led to more books, other knickknacks, and even board games. This picture shows the front of the Gone with the Wind Museum as well as Rhett Butler, and a train that we've already seen before, the General. The final place I visited was the Jimmy Carter Library and Museum. I was immediately struck by its beauty, and then when I got inside I was struck by its size, as it housed incredible relics from Jimmy Carter's childhood as well as his life. It was interesting to see what he was reading, including books by Zane Grey, and what he was writing in school. I was very interested to learn that he was a simple peanut farmer and later got a naval career as he was always interested in the Navy. There were also very cool interactive experiences, such as this one featuring a submarine. His life coincides with many major Southern themes, including interest on religion, emphasis on agriculture, and interest in discussing racial issues. These themes he would later address in his presidency. I was also overcome with a thought and a quote from Bill Hicks, which says in so many words that everyone is constantly confronted in their lives with a choice between fear and love in each thing that they do. And when I was standing in the Oval Office replica that they have there, I wondered at those words. And I wondered at how many difficult decisions he made in this office. Carter seemed to make the choice between fear and love easy. His simple message of peace and understanding turned this Georgia peanut farmer into one of America's most influential men. Later, he was rewarded with the Nobel Peace Prize for his efforts, and his message of peace and love still lives on to this day. This museum got me to think about my own choices between fear and love, and just as Jimmy Carter made it seem easy, I hope to make the right choice every time.